What you doing? I'm here to talk to the AC stories with this alcohol anime with kind of just a basic alcohol anime, I guess I would say. It is the February episode, so I did have a theme kind of for this, but before we get to that and talking about Josee, the tiger and the fish, we're going to talk about the alcohol, the drink I kind of came up with for this film. And I will say, I've been uh, drinking. I've been pre gaming for this, getting ready, and then my drink not super strong, but it hits after a while. Okay, so here is my process, and just jumping right into it is I did not know what to drink. I've actually had this film on my list for a while, and I've thought about it multiple times since I put it on my list. And I just didn't know what to do. And I was like, maybe something tiger related, maybe something fish related. And somehow I went down to somehow sitting related. I know a few people, wheelchair bound, wheelchair reliant. And I was like, oh, I'll ask them where their favorite drinks are. Turns out none of them drank, so that was a bummer. I thought this was gonna be an easy one. It's not. So I went with something related, which is, well, what's a good drink to just sit and enjoy? And that made me think of like good old like sitting out on your porch just drinking something. Kind of just reminds me of like country living kind of deal. So I was like, okay, well, what do I normally see people drinking out on their porch? And first, of course, alcohol is either like whiskey or moonshine, like cheap whiskey, but usually moonshine more is what I think of. And if you're like, oh, that's not true, literally, an outdoor fridge don't it has a fireball and whiskey, moonshine in it, the two things. It's like it's just one of those things. Even though my family has an outdoor kitchen that is Margaritaville themed, so it's not for everyone. But I did see a lot of just moonshine being drunk outside. Now, other things, not alcohol, but somewhat related, is lemonade and I guess more kid friendly thing. Sitting outside drinking like a mason jar of lemonade. It's all mason jar, which is a weird thing because mason jars are one of the worst things to try to pour out of. Maybe not the worst to drink out of. And lemonade, sweet tea, and then I asked others, coffee. I guess more of a morning thing. I drink hot tea outside in the mornings if I'm not drinking alcohol. So those are my four things: moonshine, sweet tea, lemonade, and coffee. And it's like, well, what do I do with this? I could just get all those and mix them together, but instead I went somewhat different. I just went to a liquor store, looked for whatever I could. I thought there would be a sweet tea flavored moonshine, and that's what I was going to stick with. I'll just get this; it'd be simple, whatever. I think while I was looking in the store with someone is when they brought up the coffee. And I was like, well, here's some coffee moonshine. And I was like, that works. And then I was like, well, sweet tea and lemonade. And I was like, ah, damn it. I know what I can get because there's the twisted tea. There's hard teas anyways, but get one of those half and halves. What is that also called? Like Arnold Palmer? Is that also half tea, half lemonade? I don't know. But my drink ended up being the hard iced tea, twisted tea, half and half iced tea and half lemonade. It is 5%. I got a big ass can of it. And then a coffee moonshine. The one I'm drinking is Old Forge Distillery moonshine, coffee flavored. It is 60 proof, so it's not a strong drink. And mixing them together, surprisingly, it's still simple. I'm not the most proud of this, but mixing them together was okay. It wasn't anything super weird, but it wasn't anything great. Just like it doesn't taste like it's just two separate things, mixed together. It does blend into a kind of different taste. But they're also not as good as together as they would be apart. I don't even really like twisted tea. I have had other hard iced teas and that are better or that I like prefer. This coffee moonshine though, I was sampling it before pretty much as soon as I got it, I was like, oh well, at least I want to try it. Nowhere near where I was going to watch this film, and I drank almost all of it. I even went and got a second bottle of it, a different brand, just to try something else. And this was a lot better than I expected. I don't know why. It's easy to drink. I don't even really like coffee that much. But I like coffee flavored candies and stuff like that. So, yeah, it worked. I like that one a lot. I was drinking that before I even mixed them together and started watching the film. Okay, but yeah. So, then I was like, okay, well, how can I do something with this? It was like, maybe one can represent the tiger, one can represent the fish. It is two separate things, so it works. As far as the actual sitting thing, who knows? I have a dumb idea for a short, and it'd be weird if this is the one that comes back. Because it's just so dumb. And if you watch my shorts, they're not supposed to be funny. They're just something dumb to amuse me. But yeah, they're alright. It's I just mixed them in like a little clear coffee tea cup. Just another kind of porch sitting kind of feeling. But hey, if you're wheelchair bound or primarily rely on wheelchairs to get around, what's your favorite drink? Alcoholic drink? Because I thought at least one of them would drink something, and apparently not. So, what would I name this? This is what I've been going back and forth on: is half and half and half and half, half and half, half and half and half and half, half and half sitting, half sipping. I think that's what I went with. Half sipping, half sitting, half sipping. That's hard to say. Half sitting, half sipping. Something like that. But then half and half sitting, half and half sipping. I guess. Because there's 4 different things. So, half and half sipping, half and half. That's hard. That's a mouthful, isn't it? Oh, yeah. Okay, well. That's alcohol. Simple. I have my reasonings. I don't know if it's justified for my reasonings. But that's what it is. Now, let's actually talk about the film. Because I feel like there's a lot. I took a lot of notes. I actually really enjoyed the film. I really got getting into it. I had plenty to drink. And so, Josee, the tiger, and the fish. I, like I said, had this on my list for a while. I kept just putting it off because, one, I couldn't think of a good drink. And then there's just other things coming out that would fit better. Or I just kept whatever. I don't know. But it's on Crunchyroll. It says it's English dub. Luckily, it is both English and Japanese, so I didn't have to worry about that. It took me a moment when I started watching it because I saw his English dub, watched it, and then it took me a moment to realize, ooh, it's Japanese. The audio is actually Japanese, so nice. It's fine. Now, why I chose this is it's romancy. It's February. It's literally the day after Valentine's that I'm doing this. It just, I don't know, it fit, I guess. But yeah, that's my excuse. Nothing else to it. It's not even a newer movie, right? It's somewhat newer. Oh, the other thing. I just saw either yesterday or the day before, something, in the past couple of days, there's another film coming out by, I think who wrote the screenplay? I don't think it was the director. I think the screenplay writer, Sayaka Kuwamura, has another movie coming out. Yeah, I don't remember the name of it right anymore. If I could Can I search it up? Let me see. I don't think it matters that much, but it looked decent. I was like, what are the chances? I'm about to watch Josee and the Tiger, the Fish. I don't know. New movie? To You in the Beyond? Is that it? Yeah, To You in the Beyond. Or Doko Yori mo Toi Basho ni Iru Kimi e. Okay. Yeah. So, yeah, another. I think. Right? Sure. Okay. Anyway, so let's ignore that. Go to the informational part of this. So, Josee the Tiger and the Fish, or Josee to Tora to Sakanatachi. What's the literal translation of that? Tora Tiger Sakatachi is the. What's the Tachi? I saw Sakana is fish. What does Tachi do? I don't know. Anyways, yeah. Based off of the. Is it a novel? A story? Another story? Short story. Oh, of the same name by Seko Tanabe. The director is Kotaro Tamura. Already said screenplay is by Sayaka Kuwamura. Produced, starring, all that stuff. Music by Evan Call. Oh, that's interesting. Music is not. Huh. What else did you do, Evan Call? Eh. Anyways. Production company was Bones. That's pretty much mostly it. It says runtime is 98 minutes. Yeah, that makes sense. On Crunchyroll, it says an hour, 38 minutes, and 11 seconds. So, yeah, that's pretty much right. It released. What? Weird. It says. I know you can just go and look up all this stuff online yourself, but I like going over it anyways. But apparently, it released in Busan first on October 30th, 2020, and then in Japan on December 25th, 2020. Huh. And then eventually it came to Crunchyroll. I probably could look it up, but it doesn't matter. At some point. Crunchyroll needs to get better with doing their films or categorizing them. Because there is actually a good bit on there, but nobody really knows they're there. It says nothing. I don't know. Apparently August 11th, 2022 is when it came to Crunchyroll. Yeah, it's a movie. Nothing. I don't know really anything else about any of these people. Bones, that's interesting. I didn't know Bones was the one who did this, but that's cool. Yeah, but just I guess I can start with just music is nice. It fits. Nothing phenomenal about it, but it's just still enjoyable music. The art is pretty, and this isn't a criticism, but the eyes have an interesting, like a rectangle. It looks like the white part of the eye is like encroaching into the rest of the eye with this little white rectangle. And it's an interesting eye style, a unique one. It's just like, weird. I mean, nothing bad about it. It looks fine, but it's just like, interesting. I guess it's instead of doing a little circle to be the light or whatever, it's supposed to help imitate that too. Everything else is it's a pretty film. Yeah. The film itself is also just pretty simple. Nothing goes out of its way that much. There's some cool one scene because the main character tsuneo is like scuba diver, so there's a lot of underwater stuff that looks really nice. There's like a fantasy or a dream-like thing of the city being in water and swimming through that. That's really nice. So, a very attractive looking film. And animation is good. No complaints on anything. But, yeah. that's just a general summary review of the film. Let's actually go into what happens, because I have 2 full page of notes for some reason. I don't know why I took so many, but I did like it. I guess actually that's not too far off from what I've been doing. Okay, maybe I should have had more then. Also, hour and a half. About. I do wish it does feel kind of short. That's typical though. Even if I wanted it to be longer, I'm trying to think if there would have been any reason to make it longer. And I guess nothing stood out. And I think I normally do have something that's like, oh, okay. No, there were a few cuts where it's just like something happened. It's like, oh, and honestly, the jarring of it fits with what happened, so I can't complain about it then. If that would have been dragged out or whatever, it probably wouldn't have been as impactful. I think this one was actually pretty well paid, which is a weird thing. Of course, there could have been more, but I think this is one of the few times I'm like, it actually didn't need more. And maybe there was other things at some point, but so the opening credits is of a scuba diver and a day montage of tsuneo. It's pretty much scuba dive, work, school, work, a lot of working. Mainly, I guess the main gig is at a diving shop. Has a couple co-workers named Mai and Hayato, who are going to be the 2 other characters in this. We'll mainly be seeing, aside from the obviously Tsuneo and Josee. There's also a boss, but we don't really see the boss much. A grandparent, Josee's grandparent. A librarian pops up. So it's a very small cast, actually. Which I'm only just realizing. But Tsuneo wants to go study abroad in Mexico, but is poor. Reason why there's so many part-time jobs. And then, one night, someone just comes racing down the hill on a street, I guess out of control, named Josee Kumiko, who is 24 and Tsuneo is 22. It doesn't really matter that much. I'm glad they're adults. It's nice to get films with adults in it, especially when they seem so young. Like, you will look at these and there's not much difference between these anime adult characters compared to what you see in anime high school kid characters. But yeah, there's just one bit eventually where they talk about their ages and realize Josee's a couple years older. Also, I will say, one of the people I know actually has some resemblance to Josee. Just hair color. I guess that's about it. Being small, but yeah. I don't know. Not the feistiness of it. Actually, Josee reminds me a lot of what if Taiga from Toradora was just wheelchair bound. It reminds me a lot of that. Just the attitude mainly. And hair color, style, all that. I don't know. Actually, who animated Toradora? Because that might actually explain it too. I wouldn't be surprised it was Bones, but it's been so long. I don't know who actually did it. It was by yeah. Wait, why is it not saying who? Studio. Oh, JC staff. Right, that's right. Okay. Anyways, so yeah, that kind of Taiga attitude, but less violent, I guess. But yeah, Josee coming racing down at night. Luckily, Tsuneo is there to catch Josee, or really just crash into each other. And then Josee's calling Tsuneo a pervert, and bites the hand. I don't know. And then the grandparents come and say, oh no, it says someone pushed Josee. And here's the thing, we never really get any confirmation someone actually pushed. We didn't see it. It's not really brought up again. But it could be, this is what I'm thinking, Josee was just trying to be independent and trying to roll around and lost control at the edge of a hill or going down the hill. And then the grandparents just assumed it was someone pushing. But because we do see some people are assholes towards just different people in general that they considered inconvenient. And it's not just handicapped people, it's older people, whatever. But yeah. So, Tsuneo is invited over to Josee and the grandparents' house for food. And then there's a bit of Josee interpreting for the cat, who seems to not want Tsuneo there. And then there's another thing, and it's only brought up this one time. And I don't get it, because by any other means, Josee seems, aside from needing a wheelchair, Josee seems physically capable to do anything else that don't involve legs. But Tsuneo tries handing Josee a cup. Josee throws it back at Tsuneo, if I remember correctly, and then the grandpa's like, "Oh, Josee can't hold cups with liquid inside," or something like that. I don't know if it was a weird translation or how I misread it. It was kind of just, it happened quick. And I was like, I don't get that. And it's like, why? Josee's literally an artist. Like, there's precision Josee needs to do with hands and fingers and stuff like that, that holding a cup is harder. Maybe it's because of the way Josee has to sit, or I don't know. I don't get it. Anyways, so that's kind of their introduction. Now, at some point, I don't remember if it says anyways, Tsuneo is hired to work part-time taking care of Josee. I'm like, oh, okay. And really, Josee's just telling Tsuneo to do stupid stuff, which does. Just things like count lines into tatami mats. And even when the grandparent comes back, still doing it. So yeah, Josee's being that kind of bitchy, kind of like Taiga-esque. And then Tsuneo's going out drinking and complaining to coworkers, and it's like, oh, okay, nice. Now, okay. So it's just kind of that kind of vibe going on for a bit. It actually doesn't last that long. Maybe that could have been extended a bit just to see, but that was kind of a montage. It wasn't even really a montage. Tsuneo's complaining as nothing more is happening, but we really only see that one. But this is where at some point Josie's fantasizing about being a mermaid swimming through the city. I already talked about the animation for that, but it was while listening to the radio. And we're seeing more of the grandparent being overprotective, saying the world is full of beasts and stuff, referencing the tiger in this. And I guess Josie's the fish, mermaid. Yeah. Tsuneo comes by to quit, but sees Josie's ocean room. And I guess it's enough. Or hears the grandparent start yelling, or I don't know, notices Josie's missing. And goes look to help look for Josee, and eventually stops Josee at a train track. The train isn't like about to hit anyone, but Josee's close enough, and once seeing Tsuneo is like, I'm going to go for it, and tries to roll over the train tracks. It would have been bad, probably would have got stuck. But yeah, then the two of them go for a stroll to the ocean, just like that. And this is where we see come on the rude people. So tigers, or the beast, is referring to rude people, not even literally tigers, but it's just the rude people who are just whatever. I don't know. There's some jerk just, I don't know, doing whatever, and Josie's kind of getting down about it. But then there's like another old person that pops up and starts scolding this jerk, and that's kind of funny. And it also gives Josee a little hope. But yeah, and it's at this point, that Josee officially declares Tsuneo the caretaker. Which is weird. I would have thought of it after this, but I guess, according to my notes, it was during this trip. Probably while they're on the train or something. Which is a big flip. Nothing else really happened, actually, for Josee to have this change of heart. I guess this is enough, actually. But yeah, gets to the reason why Josee wants to be at the ocean, which is before dying, one of Josee's parents, for some reason, I think it was phrased like a riddle, but it was just a random question of, how does the sea taste? And then never got to find out because both parents died. Okay. Or Josee did go to the ocean before, but was too scared of the waves to taste the water. So this time, Tsuneo is carrying Josee so they can find out. And guess what? It's salty. Of course it is. It's seawater. But I guess, are there people who don't know ocean water is salty? Or maybe they just don't realize the taste of it. I don't know. I never went to the ocean and was like, I wonder how the water tastes. I went to the ocean and was like, am I going to drown? I'm a good swimmer. But as a kid, I was stupid. I'm like, I'm going to go out as far as I can. No protection. And ocean's trying to drown me. But I never did. As far as I know, I never did drown. I still like the ocean. Okay, so. Yeah, water salty. They get back. The grandparent, I think there's a name. I think the grandparent does have a name. I'm just forgetting what it is. I think it's like Yokomo, Yamamura. Okay. Chizu Yamamura. That's the grandparent's name. Kimiko Yamamura. What did I say your name was? Oh, Josee. Okay, then that's right. I wrote this down stupid. Josee's, I guess, real name is Kumiko Yamamura, but goes by Josee because it comes from like a book or something. I forgot about that whole bit. Okay, yeah. So, yeah. Okay. Anyways, back to that. Chizu grabs Tsuneo by the balls and threatens to cut him off if they go out again like that. But Josee knows Chizu takes a nap from 1 to 3, so they have a good 2 hours to do whatever. And apparently, those are some really long 2 hours. Because you gotta think about what can you really do in 2 hours that you can't already do now. You gotta think of transportation. You're probably not traveling that fast, especially walking and rolling around. Then what activities you can do? Then you gotta walk back. There's one part. This is another montage of them doing stuff, of going to different places. One of them is watch a film, and I guess if the theater's close enough and it's a film like this that's short, you could do that in 2 hours. But let's be real. The Chizu probably knew they were doing this and was just trying to play like overprotective grandparent or whatever. But yeah, we also start to see more through these montages, and even earlier that Josee is kind of a compulsive liar. Talks about once about dating 5 people and is so popular. Earlier was saying has been on a train before, which probably has been, but the way Josee acts makes it seem like a lie. Montage, we also see Tsuneo is maybe afraid of heights, which, you know, if you're going to fly to Mexico eventually, that's going to be tough on you, maybe. But that's never really comes up again, so it's just a weird thing. Just something to add and get to know the characters a little bit, whether it matters or not, which I appreciate. Okay. And this is, okay, getting to this next point, this is how you kind of know Chizu knows Josee's going out during those 2 hours. Because Chizu's talking to some other random person, I don't know, and makes a comparison that Josee looks like some sign. And then we get a glimpse of a sign, and it's a sign of a person running. And it's just like, I get it. Metaphorically, it's like, oh, Josee seems as free as this person that has legs and can actually run. But also, it's just like, damn. And then at this point, apparently, I had a random thought that I need to put in my notes that says, "Do Josee's legs go numb from sensing? Do they? Like, I know they don't work how they normally would. I don't know. I could never imagine what it's like for that to happen. Is there absolutely no feeling down there? Because Josee, it's not the typical just like sitting like people normally do on their legs. Because I assume that takes some leg muscle to do it. So Josee's kind of sits like how my dog does. Just like legs kind of the side, like almost like a mermaid fin, I guess. But do the legs go numb? Because I think they would. They would still have nerves and blood would still be pumping through them. I I don't know how all that works. Maybe the nerves don't work at all. Otherwise, I think nerves is what helps you control the muscles in them to make them work. I don't know. Maybe I should ask them. I don't know. That's a hard question to ask someone without seeming just like an ass, right? I don't know. Okay, so this is where the next character comes in. They go to a library and meet the librarian named Kana. Apparently I put that name down. Don't know why I forgot the grandmothers. But they're mainly going there because Josee's a friend of a fan of a book by Sagan. I don't know. I don't remember if it said a first name. But Sagan books, and so is the librarian. So they become quick friends. So that's really nice, actually. And then they go to a diving shop and meet, so Josee can meet Mai and Hayato. I hope that's Hayato. I kept saying Hayato. Yeah, it's Hayato. Okay. And Hayato. They're both very friendly, but Hayato acts like just immediately in love. And it's like, oh, it's stuff like, oh, it's a fairy and blah, blah, blah. And then it's really after meeting Mai and, how do I say May or Mai? I don't know. Mai. And kind of watching other people come in and to enjoy scuba diving or stuff like that, or whatever. And I don't know if it was exactly Mai being jealous of Mai, who has a crush, like a bad level of crush on Tsuneo, and just being jealous of that, or just feeling sad and kind of jealous of people who are more leg abled and able to do the diving stuff, and being there just kind of sad. But I don't know. I think it was more to do with mine, because this is around the time you're starting to see Josee really seem to have feelings for Tsuneo. But yeah, Josee just suddenly leaves, and it seems like it's a bad time. And then that night, Josee says to Chizu for Tsuneo not to be a caretaker anymore, or to not come by anymore. I don't think it actually straight up says for Tsuneo not to be the caretaker, but not to come by anymore. So we focus more on Tsuneo's life, who ended up getting a scholarship to study abroad and will be leaving in 6 months. And then we're going to flip-flop back and forth to Josee, who now is just doing things alone, which is nice. It's like, oh, all this stuff, you don't need Tsuneo. Cool. I guess the grandparent is being more lenient, or maybe Josee's thinking out. Who knows? But yeah, goes to the library alone, mainly to bitch about Tsuneo to Kana. That's what happens. Then there's a child who wants Josee to read The Little Mermaid, and they are not into it. The kids do not give a fuck. I think only the original kid who wanted the book read stays, and then asks like, oh, what does the Mermaid Kingdom or castle or whatever look like? So this is where Josee goes and flexes the drawing skills, drawing on a whiteboard, which just seems like it would be pretty hard to do, but it looks pretty cool. And oh, okay. So, Tsuneo eventually brings a clarion anglefish light to Josee. And that's nice. They have a little moment. I guess they made up. I don't know. That's kind of... Okay, that is the part that could be extended a bit. Because maybe to Tsuneo, it didn't seem like that big of a deal. And it could just be recovered that quick. It seems like a bigger deal for Josee. It seemed like there needed to be more time for this to wrap up, but who knows. But yeah, and then they're having a moment, and it seems like they're almost about to kiss, and instead Josee headbutts Tsuneo. A very tight thing. I don't mean to keep comparing it, but Toradora, my favorite anime of all time, and it's just hard not to compare it. So yeah, and another day, Tsuneo and Josee are going out again, and the grandparent actually seems happy. This is where it's like, oh, the grandparent really was happy after all this, and we get to see proof of it. And so Tsuneo and Josee enjoying their day, and then, what the fuck? There's a cut to the funeral of the grandparent of Chizu, and you're just like, what the fuck? It's so out of nowhere. Last time we saw Chizu was literally like jumping up and down from happiness or something like that, and then it just cuts to the funeral. It's like, what the fuck is this? What? I don't even remember what happened. I guess the grandparent just died from happiness or something. It was just, I don't know. A heart attack. Okay. But yeah. It was just so out of nowhere. But this is what I was talking about. If it built up to it, it kind of wouldn't have been as impactful because now Josee's suddenly all alone. Ooh. And this is like, I don't know, maybe halfway through the movie. So, yeah. A big turn. Now, I guess it's a decent turn story wise. But it's just like, dang. Okay. So, Tsuno's upset because Josee's, of course, having a hard time in life. And for some reason, Mai and Hayato, mainly Mai, goes look for Josee to ask Josee to set Tsuneo free. Really just being a bitch. Mai is actually like super toxic. And this isn't even it. It only gets worse from here. I'm looking back at my notes and there's just so many things I keep seeing about Mai. Just anyways. Yeah, and this like hurts Josee, of course. Tsuneo goes by to see Josee again, who threw away all the art stuff. And we'll find out it wasn't all of it, but pretty much everything's just boring now. Cut hair, got a motor chair, is getting an office job. They go to the ocean again, though, for some reason. And then another big turn. And it's just things keep going bad. First, Chizu dies, and now Josee is almost isekai'd. But it's Tsuneo instead. Not actually isekai'd, but is hit by a car because somehow Japan must just have the worst, like, people paying attention to the streets. I don't know. And there's such a huge walking culture in Japan that it makes no sense that they're not paying more attention. There's usually always people around. Of course, I think it was darker or whatever. That's not an excuse. But it happened like Josee got stuck on something and the chair couldn't move. So Tsuneo was like trying to run out to help because it looked like there was a car coming, but it was actually just a motorcycle who does like go around Josee. So that was fine. But then like in that split moment of relief, there's a car that comes by and hits Tsuneo. And it's not, and Tsuneo doesn't die, but it does get pretty fucked up. Apparently got a broken shin bone that will take 2 months in order to be able to walk okay, and there's also an arm fracture that's going to make using crutches hard. So guess what, Josee's not the only one in the wheelchair club anymore, except for and saying it in the only mean way I can is Tsuneo does act more pathetic about it, but it is like a big change. But it also gives Tsuneo like a different perspective of what it's like for Josee. So, I mean, it kind of works out. But yeah, the professor comes by, tells Tsuneo, we're going to need another student to go abroad if you can't, and that you should just focus on healing and all that stuff. And Tsuneo's like, well, it'll be meaningless anyways for me to go if I can't dive anymore. And it's like, oh, okay. So it was less about the trip and more just about diving, because diving is Tsuneo's whole life and all that. But, yeah. So, fucking A. Okay. So a lot of what happens next is just Tsuneo being in the hospital, people really supporting, and Hayato and Mai come around to help push Tsuneo along in a wheelchair, go for little walks. But Mai uses this time after hearing that Tsuneo is not going abroad to confess to Tsuneo, straight up saying, now that you're not going abroad, I can confess to you. But it's also, I don't know, maybe it could be a good time, like help. I don't know. It just seems, the way it happens in the film, it just seems so bad. And then after this, Mai goes to harass Josee more. Like, it's so unnecessary. Mai's just so fucking toxic. I don't know why. But it's like, it's perceived real badly, but it also can be understood to be like taken as a challenge, because it does seem like that's how Josee takes it. Turns out Josee didn't throw away all the art stuff, like I said, and doesn't want just to give up, just like saying Tsuneo wouldn't give up. So there's that added motivation, and I guess Josee hatches a little plan with Hayato. Which is to get Hayato to take Tsuneo to the library where Josee is reading a picture book. And I know you can't read a picture book, but it's showing a picture book and is reciting lines. I didn't see any words in it. Also, the way Josee's holding it, you can't actually it'd be pretty clever. It's because it's like a flip notebook just on its side, and you could draw the picture there, and then on the back of the page you could read from that. But it starts out a little rough. One kid just doesn't give a fuck and bounces, but the others say. I don't think any other left and seem actually interested. And then the story ends up being kind of like Josee and Tsuneo. Just their story. Just rewind this about 30 minutes and listen to that again. That's similar to how it is, except for it's about a mermaid and an angel and stuff like that, and referencing the angel's wings getting hurt or not working, protecting the mermaid, something like that, which, it reflects a lot. And then it kind of is predicting the future or trying to have a happy future for him. I don't remember exactly more beyond that, though. So, where was that? So, Shimano pisses me off. So this is what is used to help inspire and motivate Tsuneo again. So doing rehab for real. Josee and Hayato are there a lot and watching and supporting. And then eventually Mai pops by too, which Hayato drags Mai in and stop being a creep. And then suddenly it's Christmas time. I thought it was closer to March. By the time this, I was like, I thought you were just about ready to go. I thought that's why you needed to study abroad. Apparently, not much time has been passing at all. It's only Christmas time now, or winter. I don't know if they actually say Christmas. It's wintry. I think there's Christmassy decorations or whatever. That's it. I don't think anything happens. It's just there to kind of give you a timeline. But yeah, Tsuneo was trying to get Josee to make a promise or something to meet at the hospital when Tsuneo is to be discharged, but the meetup doesn't happen, and Josee is missing. Tsuneo goes to Josee's house, sees it seems like Josee is packing up. But yeah, for some reason I think Josee's missing, but there's really no proof. It could just be Josee was out. For some reason, I don't think Josee has a phone. That seems like it probably been pretty important for someone who's pretty reliant on others. So make sure you're able to contact other people. But yeah, I don't know why they panicked so much. I guess because Josee didn't meet Tsuneo is what the panic. Not because Josee wasn't home, but because the meetup didn't happen. And if that didn't happen, maybe it's because something went wrong. I don't know. So here's what I would think. It's happened twice. Why not go for a third time? I would think Josee went to the ocean again. If that's where I was going to look. But no, for some reason, Tsuneo knows to go to the zoo. Also, it's snowing, so you get to see more tracks and whatever. But also, I wouldn't think the zoo. And they do go to the zoo at one point. They go to aquarium at one point too. They went to a lot of places. I don't know why the zoo though. And that's the part that's kind of weird. For us as viewers and the symbolism of all of it, the tiger. Okay. But I just wouldn't think of that. Was there maybe somebody said something about... I don't know. I don't know why the first thought was to go to the zoo. But, yeah. Then, you can see the wheel tracks in the snow. So Tsuneo's trying to give chase on a crutch. Doesn't... not gonna make it very fast, because Josee's just speeding away, and someone I know whose wheelchair can apparently go 15 miles an hour. I don't know how fast Josee's can, but holy shit, if you're trying to just zoom away and give chase while on a crutch, you're not catching up. And Tsuneo doesn't. It's just a lost cause. And it's like, oh, you sped away. No. The reason is because Tsuneo just loses track. The tracks just stop once Josee gets out of the snow. It's like, oh, that's kind of lame. So eventually though, the beginning comes back around because Tsuneo, I don't know if it's the exact same location, but Tsuneo manages to catch an out of control Josee again. Josee, I don't know, whatever. And it's like, oh, that's nice. That's just something in the like how you first. And then And I don't know, it sounds mean, probably. There's a point Josee talks about wanting to, or planning to stand on own feet. Own 2 feet. I miss, and it's like, ooh. Ooh. I don't know exactly what happened to Josee's legs. I don't think it was the same as Tsuneo, though. I'm not sure Josee is standing anymore. Maybe by some medical miracle, but it's not the same as Tsuneo. I don't think you just can suddenly walk. So I don't know if that's another weird translation or just not idiom, but just a phrase. I don't know, but yeah. So this is. I mean, it seems like it, right? Tsuneo confesses to Josee, who confesses back, and then not only that, Tsuneo kisses Josee. It's like, oh shit, I didn't expect that. And then Josee kisses back. It's like, oh, and the movie ends. It's like, what the? That part, I don't know. Can we have a little bit more than just they kiss and that's the end of the movie? I thought there'd be a little bit more. I guess there wasn't. But, yeah, I like the film. But now that I'm talking about it, it does seem shorter, right? There actually could have been more to it. It feels like a longer movie. I think just because it has pretty clear-cut sections to it. The first being Josie's grandma die, then Tsuneo getting hit by a car. And there is probably more in it. I just didn't... just not remember it. There probably was more that happened, but also it's a short movie, so maybe not. And then the whole rehab arc to the end. I don't know. It's just I thought there would be a little bit more. It just seems so sudden to end, and this isn't unusual. I feel like there was other films I've talked about that they just end. But then it's like, okay, well, what would have happened after this? Well, we kind of see that in the credits. So the movie ends, credits roll, yeah, and then we get just silent scenes of everyone coming together. They're relieved that Josee's okay, which is kind of, like I said, kind of insulting to Josee that Josee probably would have been fine. Was just having a moment, went out a day. Until Josee rolled downhill and out of control, everything else is going fine. No danger, no trouble. And it's just, I don't know. I guess if they didn't panic though, Tsuneo wouldn't have been in a spot to catch Josee again. So who knows? It's like, maybe it was a good thing to panic after all, but also it's like most of the time it was unnecessary, but kind of butterfly effect. What would have happened if they wouldn't have panicked and just waited for Josee to come home? Would Josee have made it back? Did they do something that caused Josee to suddenly lose control and go down the hill again? I don't know. But there's other things happening during these credits, like everyone seeing Tsuneo off to the flight, hopefully not too scared of the height while in the plane. It shows Kana reading Josee's books. Maya and Yato are still hanging out, and it seems like Josee and Tsuneo are still continue talking to each other, still doing working, school stuff, all that stuff, while still keeping in touch, I guess. And then I don't know exactly what it was. You see, like, fire people putting out a fire, and it's like, is that Josee's old house? I guess it is. It's all silent during the credits. Which the music during credits is fine too. It was enjoyable. Like I said, nothing that stands out. Just good old music. It's like, I don't know what's actually going on. I know Josee was moving anyway, so I guess it didn't matter that much. I hope Josee moved. I don't know. Josie's still alive, so I guess so. And then there's another scene, and it's like, if you're not thinking too hard about it, you'd be like, oh, they reunited already. But no, I think it's, for some reason, it's re-showing the scene of the first time I went to the ocean, because Josee wears like a skirt, dress kind of deal that looks like mermaid fins-esque, and it was wearing it in this, I guess, flashback too. So I'm pretty sure they just randomly show this again. And then there's after credit scenes. Yeah, it's not over yet. There's still more. There is kind of a conclusion, which is why I guess it's okay now that they kind of just cut the film off where they did. So, after the credits, it shows Tsuneo is back for spring break. and meets up with Josee, who is sitting on a bench drawing, and there's cherry blossoms everywhere, and this is Tsuneo keeping a promise to come back and look at them with Josee. Which, this is the same time the promise was made, is when around the time Tsuneo got the scholarship. So it's like, oh, that's nice. And then that is the actual end of the movie. There may have been a little more credits or whatever, but that is the actual end. So, I actually didn't have as much to say about it as I thought I would, but it is still nice. I feel like this is a very overlooked film. I don't know why nobody ever really talked about it. I wouldn't say it's one of the best anime films I watched. It's still better than Your Name. Your Name is just a garbage way to tell that story. I already did a whole episode on that. I'm not going to rant about that. But I still feel like it's more heartfelt. It flows nicer. It makes more sense relationship-wise. I wonder what happened with Mai Hayato. Mai was just, it was getting bad with Mai. Because at first I'm like, oh, Mai's nice. Like, that's cool. And then it just got weird. Yeah. I wonder if Hayato ever. I was kind of hoping, if Mai wouldn't have gotten so toxic, I was kind of hoping Mai and Tsuneo would have gotten together, and then Josee and Hayato would have gotten together. Because it was such an immediate Hayato being a fairy. It's like, oh, that's nice. Like, there was no judgment or anything. For the most part, the only time we see Tsuneo talking to Mai Hayato about Josee was complaining. So the fact that Hayato's like no judgment at all, is just like, oh, fairy, so nice and pretty. And it's like, yeah, you're still, for an anime character, you're still nice looking, I guess. Yeah. I'm just looking at random things. It opened ninth place at the Japanese box office in its initial release. I don't know if this ever. I guess it never got a theatrical release, which is probably why nobody would know about it. It's only eventually came on Crunchyroll and nowhere else. But yeah, it's just one of those films that nobody pay attention to. There's a lot of them on Netflix like that. I guess this is one of the ones on Crunchyroll. But it's a shame. So I hope I forgot the name of it. Whatever this next film is that's coming out, that getting written by Sayaka Kuwamura. I hope that one gets more attention. The trailer I watched seemed like it was going to be a pretty good movie. I'll just have to wait and see. But that was a good overall movie. Nice, heartfelt, nothing like crazy, but still just kind of like, damn. Like, damn. Like, so, a couple of things happened. So I did not expect Chizu to just randomly die. But it happened. So, yeah. Whew. Anything else? Animation. I talked about plenty. Music. It's okay. Story. Yeah, I think I talked about all the things I normally talk about. So, yeah, let me know what you thought. If, here's a good, I don't know, awareness. If you are also paraplegic, wheelchair bound, I don't know what terms I actually use. I just, a group I know uses differently abled, but people have different things. And because they're all different reasons they're in wheelchairs too. So, I don't want to talk about other people's difficulties, but, yeah. Everyone has different circumstances. But if you are wheelchair bound, did this do a good job of representation and representing wheelchair life? I don't know if it's any different in Japan than it is here. I would assume better. Of course, there's going to be nasty people anywhere in the world. It doesn't matter. But, you see them on the train. They have little ramps they put out for people in wheelchairs, so that's nice. So, I don't know. I would imagine Japan would be more accessible. But, yeah, let me know if, this is a good film for it. For that kind of representation. And then also, I said earlier, what's your favorite things to drink? Alcohol-wise. Yeah. Just, I'm curious. What would have been a great drink for me to make? And, of course, everyone's going to be different. If I somehow got the exact same answer from multiple people in wheelchairs, that would be honestly kind of crazy. What a weird coincidence that would be. But maybe not. I don't know. But yeah, let's just talk about this film more, talk about other films more. I don't know, maybe suggestions. If you're listening to this and you want to be a guest on my podcast, I keep meaning to put it out, but arranging stuff is always time consuming, especially when you need to watch a whole movie, then talk about it for another hour, coordinate drinks, if that's the thing. But yeah, we can easily do episodes together. It'll be cool to have guests again. But yeah, if you want to talk more about this, though, and more about drinks and all that stuff, you can leave comments if you are able to do that wherever you're listening to this. Find me on social media, the AC Stories. Email me, theacstories@gmail.com. I have a Discord, all kinds of stuff. I'll leave links that you should easily be able to find where to talk more about this stuff. But yeah, I think that's gonna be it. I'm trying so hard to stay tuned in and not ramble or rant too much. But yeah, so that's going to be it for me talking about Josee, the tiger, and the fish. With my drink, half sipping, half and half sipping, half and half holy shit. Half and half sipping, half and half sitting, half and half. Oh, I'm keeping it now because now it's a challenge. Half and half sitting, half and half sipping. That's weird. Half sitting, half sipping. That's a half and half sipping, half and half sitting. Okay, that's it. That's the name. Yeah, let me know what drinks you have. Regardless if you're willing to or not, something you think would better represent this. Keep an eye out. I should have a short coming too for all this stuff. But yeah, that's gonna be it. Thank you everyone who listened. Thank you especially to my Ko-fi Patreon supporter Julio Vasquez. If y'all want to help support me, you can do it there. You get shout outs like these. You get notes to the videos and podcasts I make, like half of this. It's a couple pages. And then you get access to drafts of stories I write, all kinds of stuff, depending on the different tiers and whatnot. But yeah, you can do all of that. But that's going to be it for this alcoholandanime. I have been your otaku container, the AC Stories. Until next month. I don't normally do this, but I'm inserting this at the end. This is a little separate thing that I want to do. But I saw two things immediately right after recording that I didn't get to say because I didn't know about it. But I looked it up. Okay. Before I say my final film words, I saw two things. One, there's a live action version of Josee, the Tiger and the Fish, back in 2003. I don't know how I didn't see that before when looking it up. And also, looking at the movie poster for this, the tagline for this is "Together They Can Fly," which is so fucking stupid. I was trying so hard on it. That's so stupid. Flying has nothing to do with it, except for Tsuneo eventually flying away. Oh, it's so dumb. And like neither of them can fly. The whole thing, a tiger and fish, neither of them fly. Why? Who came up with that tagline? It's so dumb. I'm kind of upset about that. But anyways, that's it. Bye.